Let's talk about self-doubt and how to overcome it. Self-doubt is very normal. It is something we all experience, and it is a survival mechanism. So what I mean by that is self-doubt comes in when some part of us is really scared. So that could be maybe you're nervous to perform. Maybe you are nervous to give a presentation. Maybe you are nervous to meet new people, right? If our nervous system is scared, if our body and brain are scared, then it'll start spouting out some brain trash. What I mean by that is trash talk, right? Like, you shouldn't wear that because like this person's going to be there and they're always so well dressed. They're always so well put together. You look like a mess, blah. All of this garbage in our brain tends to accumulate. Then we start to doubt ourselves. If you're a performer going on stage, did I really practice enough? Am I actually prepared for this? Well, I'm kind of nervous, so maybe I didn't actually prepare fully for this. What if blah, blah? There's no end to it, right? Self-doubt is the root of imposter syndrome, but it will also try to completely annihilate all of the things that you have worked for. The reason it's doing that is because it is fearing something. It's fearing embarrassment, rejection, humiliation, whatever it might be. Now, when you know this and you know that your brain is just trying to convince you to not do anything because it's safer to stay home than go out and socialize, because it is safer, emotionally speaking, right, to not get on that stage. And if it can keep you from doing that, it's done its job. So self-doubt, your brain doubting you, is a survival mechanism. It is absolutely going to be like, okay, we've never done that before, so like we probably shouldn't, obviously, because we might die. So much of this is just knowing that your brain is going to make stuff up in order to scare you into doing something you've either not done before or scare you into doing something that was emotionally painful in the past. If we take auditions, for example, this is why I think the back-end process of an audition is actually a little bit more important than even the preparation process. Because after an audition, which is emotionally painful if you don't win, or if you go and you get cut after the first round, or whatever it might be, there's probably some pain and disappointment there, right? If you don't win. Even if you do win, it's not a fun process. But if you don't win, there's going to be some disappointment and there's going to be some emotions that come up. And if they're not dealt with and there's not a plan and there isn't steps in place for you to build yourself back up after that experience, your brain is going to be on high alert for that experience to happen again and try to get you to not do it. By the way, I'm Chelsea. I play the flute and I'm a mindset coach for musicians. And I use a lot of music metaphors here, but it's all just talking about being a human. So after a really painful experience that you know for your life you want to actually do again, there has to be a process and something in place to manage this self-doubt. And I think one of the first things is to realize that it isn't true. That the stuff your brain is making up isn't because it's true, it's because it doesn't want to feel emotional pain. It's in panic mode. Because whenever we make something bigger or an emotion bigger or mean something about us that isn't necessarily factual, right? It's not true. Like we think that I wasn't good enough for that thing because I wasn't chosen. That's a connection we make a lot and it's not inherently true. Do you think that more than 2 people or 1 person in this audition was good enough to get the job? Probably, but they can't, right? There's only 1 chosen. So we make the connection between, oh, I'm not good enough because I didn't get this. And that creates so much emotional pain. And that sets up your next audition. So the stakes are a little bit higher then, right? Because you thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel not good enough again, so I have to work extra hard in order to win. And then we're focusing on winning and not creating. Those 2 things are really different. So I think that whenever we make these outcomes mean things about us and we aren't aware of it, you don't even know you're doing it. Our brain's solution to fear is to discourage us from doing the thing, right? Our anxiety will spike because we feel like there is such a huge emotional risk at stake, right? This is so common, but we always think like, well, if I was actually good, I wouldn't doubt myself. That is garbage, and I need you to throw it away. That is just garbage. Self-doubt is not based on how well you do something. Self-doubt is based in fear, and it is a survival instinct. If you believe your self-doubt, totally makes sense, because part of you is afraid, and that part of you is probably driving the bus right now. However, you can also zoom out a little bit, realize that you're only human, and you are able to see beyond, right? You're able to see beyond what is in front of you. And one of my favorite exercises to do that is to take out my brain trash. So what that means is I write down all of the horrible things my brain is telling me. And let me tell you, I don't even want to say some of them out loud, but I will for the benefit of you and this video. So if I'm practicing for an audition, it'll still come up. It still comes up sometimes. Or even if I'm playing something and it's like a big performance, my brain will go, really? You thought that was good? Like, really? You think that's good enough to be blah position in whatever orchestra? Like, really? You think that? It's almost tormenting. Can you imagine someone else saying that to you? Crazy, right? I know instantly when I am insulting myself, when I'm just being a jerk to myself, I know that it is because part of me is scared. Always. Part of me is just scared. And that's okay. We're all allowed to be scared. But do I still want to act from a place of fear like that? And do I want to take that seriously? The answer is absolutely no, because I want to further what I'm doing regardless of the fear that I feel, and I want to be on my own team. When we have self-doubt and we are in it and we really feel it and believe it, we have switched teams, right? We have all of a sudden been rooting for our home team, and then the other team starts winning. And we're like, maybe my team does suck. Like, maybe it is bad. No. What? You would never do that, right? The Super Bowl just happened. Like, you would never just think like, well, since this team is winning, I'm going to root for them if it's your home team. That's insane. You would never do that. Have the same ride or die fan mentality for yourself. Just because your brain has a thought about you that is terrible does not mean you need to switch teams. It does not mean you need to believe it. And it doesn't mean anything about you. And if you use that trash talk for motivation, that becomes a habit, and that habit will continue. And then you will be dependent on it, and you will be more and more scared to not trash talk yourself in order to motivate yourself. So this is so important. Believing the trash that your brain throws at you, the self-doubt your brain throws at you, and using it in order to improve, that becomes your system of operations. And then you internalize all of those beliefs, right? Because a thought that you repeat becomes a belief. Then what happens when you get to your goal? Then you have to feel bad every time you want to accomplish something. And that sucks. And I've been there. Believe me. So if you want to stop this self-doubt, this trash talk from your brain, what I highly recommend doing is taking out your brain trash and doing it often, every day if you have to. I have so many journals over there, that rainbow stack of books, all full from the past 5 years. All of it. And I have more on a different shelf too. But they are full of the most despicable self-doubting thoughts ever. And it's so funny to me to read them back and be like, oh my God, that was so mean. But I had to get it out, because if I don't get it out and let my paper hold it, it stays and lives in my brain and is alive and well. If I can let my paper hold it, I can come back in an hour, read it again, and think, how silly. And if you want to implement the silly goose method, I highly recommend it in this video here. But self-doubt is a survival mechanism. It is not true, and it doesn't mean you have to believe it. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you check out the silly goose method. It's pretty good if I do say so myself, and very silly. And I will see you next time.